Good day, welcome to Endurance Room. I hope everybody's doing well. Today, we're taking a look at a tarp from a company called Aqua Quest. They make a number of series of tarps. This is their Defender model. There's also a Guide and a Safari series. The Guide being the most lightweight, Safari is in the middle, and the Defender series is extremely well built. It's made out of 70D nylon. It's dual coated, both top and bottom, and is 100% waterproof. It's got heat sealed seams and reinforced stitching throughout the tarp at all the stress points. It's got 19 different tie-out loops throughout the tarp, so there's a ton of different options for shelter configurations. And to make it even better, it's got a lifetime warranty. The tarp comes in its own little stuff sack. There's some nylon webbing on the back side, so you can use this to lash it down to your pack. And as you can see, with the tarp in there, there's still room to put a shelter kit. So if you wanted to throw a ridge line and some tent spikes, you'd have room to do that. Give me a second, I'm going to throw up a ridge line and we can check out a bunch of different shelter configurations with the tarp. Here's the first setup. It's a triangular wedge, very similar to a plow point, but rather than having one corner up at the peak, you're using the middle of the tarp, giving you ample coverage on three sides, a nice opening for your fire right out front. Also worth noting, the excess of the tarp gets folded on the inside, so you've got a built-in ground sheet. This is really well made. Double stitching. There's 19 of these webbing loops. It's like a ripstop nylon. Right down the center of the tarp is a heavier nylon ridge line with additional webbing loops. On the underside, it's like a rubberized coating. It's a different coating than the exterior. This is really nice, guys. Let's run through a couple more setups. Here's a variation on the theme of the last shelter. You get three sides of cover and at least room for two people in there and gear. I used one of the webbing loops on the ridge line to extend up to a tree behind the shelter to give the back end of the shelter some height. This is also a great example of the benefit of having multiple tie-out points. So this is set up unevenly. I've got the corner staked out on this side, but on the other side I wasn't able to go all the way out to the corner because this tree was in the way. So I went one webbing loop in and tucked the corner in again. So it's not even, but it still works, and you've got three sides of cover. There's a ton of room in there. Two people for sure. Three people would be a little crowded. With that corner untucked and fully extended, three people, no problem. Let's run through a couple more. So here is a variation of an enclosed shelter. This is pretty cool. It's suspended on the ridge line at 2 points and then staked down at 4 points on the ground. So it's kind of this diamond-shaped wedge, very similar to a plow point in shape, but the overhang at the front allows you to close the shelter off. So after you're in there, you could tie those off with some cordage and have a sealed shelter. So if it's cold out and you can't have a fire, that'd be a great way to stay warm. Just crawl in and tie those webbing loops together and you'd have a sealed shelter. Very cool. Let's check this out. Check this out. There's room for me to lay back and extend out, and the tarp is fully enclosed. Plus, I got room to sit up inside of it, which is very nice to be able to do inside your tent. To set this up, I used the middle loop at the top. I toggled it off and then staked down the 2 points that run the length of the ridge line on both sides. I staked out the back and folded in the excess tarp. That gives it the tarp some ground cover. I went right across, toggled off the opening right here. And then at the bottom here, I've got 1 stake for both corners. And then to secure it, you just lash those loops together. It's a pretty cool setup. And then to make more room where you're just hanging out at camp in front of your fire or whatever, eating, all you do is unstake those corners. They're long enough to extend back and loop up over the center toggle. This is a really cool piece of gear, extremely well made. So I wanted to pass it on to you guys and put it on your radar. We focus a lot on gear that is dependable, reliable, in particular related to the 5 C's, the basics of survival. And as a shelter element, this tarp definitely fits the bill. Guys, we got to cut it for today. I think I could spend the whole day out here setting up tarp shelters, but the sun's going down and we got to hike our way out of here. So I hope you enjoyed our first look at the Aquaquest Defender. Thank you, Aquaquest, for sending it my way. I'm going to get a lot of really good use out of this. I'm going to be using it on an overnighter real soon. We're on our way up to the Adirondacks, so we'll have some very interesting terrain to test this out in. Hope you guys enjoyed. If you got any questions, let me know down below, and we'll talk to you soon. Cheers, guys.